misfortune answers if teams didn't want to pick the Varus. Like, we've actually seen the Ashe Varus combo just given over on the blue side before. So I'm curious to see if IG.
Bit of Ashe Zyra, you know? Go old school.
Yes,
Ashe
yes.
is pretty viable as an AD carry right now. One of the few AD carries that later on the game will be able to deal with the tank. But to be fair, the damage is relatively low compared to most of the meta AD carries. Like, I don't think that'll be the priority. Very likely will go into the support role. But the Varus locked in regardless. You could just go for your second pick here. You could just go for an early Blitzcrank.
Wait a
Varus
second.
support.
Yeah, I have this coming in. I mean, you always gotta remember, like, keep this in mind when you have IG playing. Considering that, right? Wink. I think it's Wink and qiuqiu are two AD carry supports.
Yeah,
oh, Jinzhao as well. So yeah, having a couple people who do this, but IG love leaning in and putting Wink back onto the marksman. Now TT with how they're gonna answer. I mean, this would give them, you know, the range and mobility to play with to try to avoid the Draven. But it's also not really going to give you the early power. If IG are able to start setting up these dives, getting Tianzhen involved, it's going to be very hard for TT to protect his bot lane.
Yeah, we've not seen a lot of Ezreal so far this split. We've seen 4 games, 2 wins, 2 losses. I do think it's a little underrated as a pick. Got buffed on the next patch that I'm assuming will be on after Chinese New Year. But this is a controversial pick. 1 win and 13 losses for the Orianna. I don't really think that's actually how good Orianna is. I feel like it's just the way that the dice have been cast. We'll see if Ucal can change those statistics with that lock-in.
Yeah, I'm a little bit like scared because they're really going to need to glue this comp together somehow. I would love to see IG even like take away something like a Poppy, something that can buy space and dissuade anything from coming in. I guess there's no dashes on the side of IG, but I feel like the 2 things TT needs right now is more peel and more frontline, right? To just buy space for this Ezreal and Ashe, because if not, it's like how do you really play this? qiuqiu going to be wanting to set up for those cross-map enchanted crystal arrows, but it feels like if you go towards some sort of like pick-oriented side lane now, that IG are just gonna have a very easy time like rounding out their comp with some engage and then just running in on a very squishy TT composition.
Yeah, honestly, I'd love to see something like a Rel in the jungle for Beichuan here, just with the Rel Orianna can be a great combo. Obviously, Nocturne already banned away there for the Orianna combo. You're gonna take the Udyr off the board. Like you say, we need something to tie this together for TT. We'll see what they end up going for in the end. Playing away the Vi. Trying to deny potential pick opportunity. A great combo alongside that Talia.
Yeah, so just not going to want for the easy engage to be able to come through. So we're going to have our 2 premier top laners fanned out. This actually, you know, could signal for, you'd expect the Jax, just knowing that it is IG and that it's YSKM up in that top side. Again, so far he's only played 2 champions since the split has began. It has only been the Gasante and the Jax. He already did the Talia set up for that as well. The one thing that might dissuade you is like the Enchanted Crystal Arrows coming out from the support role. So it looks like IG going to want to save their top lane pick for last. And now we get to see how TT brings this all together, right? Because right now I'm struggling.
Maokai could be a good option. The Jarvan, something we've seen banned today. We don't really see it picked that often, to be honest, but it's only got 4 games in the LPL. I will say, all 4 of those games in the LPL have been wins so far, so see how Tianzhen can do on the pick. The Maokai comes on through, and the Jax that you talked about for YSKM being hovered there. I would love to see Hoya take that, just so we get to see a 3rd champion of the split for YSKM.
Yeah, doesn't seem like it's likely. Got to see if he does decide to go for it. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't. Like, you'd have great pick potential for the side laner to be able to come through, but we did see this get banned in game 1. Would follow a very similar sort of like play pattern for IG's composition overall, and IG going to be much faster on the gas pedal in this game. Honestly, even regardless of what their top lane picks, right? I mean, Varus support, Draven AD carry, Talia Jarvan in the jungle. You have so much damage and just so many champs that want to force action.
Yeah, Yone top for YSKM. This is quite a squishy composition from IG, but more importantly, an extremely aggressive composition from IG. And they've got the Jarvan in the jungle to kick it all off as well. TT, on the other hand, a lot of range. They are going to be trying to keep IG at arm's length, but honestly, that is going to be a task and a half with this composition from IG. It's going to be tough to kite this. If they can pull it off, I'll be impressed here for TT.
Yeah, I will say at least you do have that Maokai to try and dissuade with the ult. This time around, the Aatrox flank should be a bit more meaningful, considering that, right, you're going to have a Yone that you're contending with as well as a Jarvan, so not as tanky. It's not going to be like last game where it's like, hey, well, our Aatrox is always going to get shredded before this Cassante goes down. So I think there's more room there, but I'm just so excited to see how IG decides to maneuver with this composition.
Yeah, honestly, I'm just excited. This is just such a fun draft. This is so different to most of the drafts we've seen this split. I am just absolutely hyped to see how this one's going to pan out. IG versus TT. And you know, I really wasn't sure what to expect coming in today, but this was not it, whatever this is, and I'm excited to see it now. I'm going with that Draven as well. He really is one of our main Draven players here in the LPL. And we'll see. I'm just excited to see what kind of form he's in on that Draven, to see. It's always fun watching a true Draven player play in this pick. I guess we're not having any gyos.
Yeah. Again,
got baited by the camera coming up there. But I guess, yeah, no, I guess there's no gyos this time. All right, TT moving into the enemy jungle. But IG not going to react just now. Deep ward placed by TT. Beichuan takes a little bit of a hit, but they'll all walk away with their lives.
Yeah, going to try and find something with the range they have coming through for the Ezreal and the Ashe at level 1. I think overall a good call, and we know for IG side, I think especially, I mean, it's actually hard to say, right? As Tianzhen, you have options, right? It's like top lane would be a lane that you actually can try and impact in this matchup. Bot lane, getting your Draven ahead, so I think keeping your eyes on Tianzhen will be the most interesting. You expect it to still be bot lane, not even just only because of the meta, but right, Yone has his own like tools to keep himself safe. Draven Varus very much do not.
I'm very curious about that ward that 1xN has placed in that brush. I do wonder if they're, you know, anticipating a sweeper and maybe they don't step into the brush and just sweep from the outside, or maybe it's just mid placement. Double hail of blades for IG. This is aggressive early trading, but look at the range advantage for TT, still managing to poke on out.
And doing a nice job being able to find those. 1xN actually going with the press the attack instead of Conqueror. So going to be able to come out with, you know, some more aggressive trades and then enable the damage that qiuqiu's throwing out as well.
Yeah. I think crucial as well to, and in this level of aggression in the bottom lane, you're going to need the press the attack just to be able to have any return threat on this Ezreal. Going to be able to crash this wave. That third and final wave arriving as good little hawk shot will spot out Tianzhen. Immediately pinged down. They can see his Krugs are gone, his red buff is gone. They know he's moving down to the bottom side. Based on the timing of Han and Wink arriving as well, I think they already knew that. But just making sure Ucal is safe in the mid lane as well.
Yeah, and we can see both junglers going to be here quite fast. Tianzhen does have the red buff, but TT spot lane might even be able to cut IG off from really being able to join in fast if anything did break out here. And right now, what we're really just seeing is just the annoyance of the Ashe, right? And how much more her volley has the ability to like impact pushing the wave as compared to what Varus can offer early on in the game.
I'm really curious what Wink is going to build. You got to assume it's going to be like Umbral Glaive and the like.
Yeah.
Coming out from this Varus support, but we'll have to wait and see. I guess it's a Bloodsong angle, or maybe you go for the shield and try and protect yourself. I don't know. Beichuan invading anyway. It's going to be a smite off between our junglers. Beichuan wins it, looking for Tianzhen. Throws his banner as a potential escape tool. Gets that attack speed steroid to start hitting onto the Grump, but the ward is there. Beichuan no smite. So the Grump should be safe, but are the players safe is the question. Ward denied. Moves in, sapling in, forces the smite out from Tianzhen. And they're now moving forwards as Hoya finds a knockup, finds a second, finds a third. Hoya destroying a bit of revenge for game number 1 as YSKM kicked underneath this tower.
Yeah, gonna be forced to go for the recall. Luckily, still has the TP, so we'll get back to lane just fine, but being forced out so early, Beichuan
Good trade here from Beichuan. Tianzhen forced away in the end. Let's say I would have expected Java to win, but I suppose he used his cooldowns. And Beichuan finds his opportunity to go for the trade. In the meantime, Ucal has somehow been extremely bullied in this mid lane. Cryin a level up and has almost found himself a kill. Ucal barely surviving and does manage to sidestep from the knockback. Seismic shove could have been huge, but won't be able to find his opportunity.
Ooh, they're pinging him. Like, you know, help pings are coming out for TT in this jungle, so they want to go for the attack.
And Hoya has so much priority. He can easily force Tianzhen away here. And he'll even be able to protect that Scuttle Crab as well. Blue buff doesn't even fully reset, so that'll be taken by Beichuan. Tianzhen just not having a good time in this early game. So far, Beichuan's taking pretty much anything he wants for the time being. Hoya looking for the trade here. YSKM able to dodge the second Q, so he'll be able to get out with his life.
That's going to be so much more important. I know we're getting the replay down in the corner of the trade that went through, but I actually wanted to focus in on like the items. Pickaxe for Hoya as compared to just a dagger and boots for YSKM. So if he can connect those Qs, he should heavily win out in these trades every time. And the amount of threat that they've had in topside, along with the recent TP coming out from Ucal and Cryin having to follow that up, means that TT have the prio to enable these grubs to come on through.
Certainly do. Tianzhen wants to try and contest this last grub. Smite available for Beichuan, and we'll be able to finish it. So 3 grubs for TT. And again, I feel like so far this game we're consistently seeing Tianzhen late to the play, but here we go. 1xN and qiuqiu in trouble. Both dodge the knockback here. Big damage shots qiuqiu, but on tanking the tower, forced away. But the wave is still going strong. They could redo this if they want, but it feels a little dangerous. Plate taken. It's Wink that gets it solo. The only one to actually hit the tower in that engage.
I mean, kudos to IG for even being able to pull this off at all. I mean, having no real hard CC to play off that, considering that you don't have Chains of Corruption up yet, so you're really just relying on Cryin. Does go in favor of them. Only a heal traded for a barrier and a flash going out for qiuqiu. That's going to set up for very easy ganks for Tianzhen if he wants to look in that direction. We do have Dragon up, so you'd expect both teams to start looking around this bot lane.
Certainly would. Neither top lane up with TP, and I love that the observers are focusing on this lane. It's not a lane we get to see all too often. YSKM trying to be aggressive, but Hoya, to be fair to him, is trading back effectively. He's really trying to dissuade YSKM from this aggression.
Yeah, it seems like just trying to get through some of the early parts of the game where a lot of the mobility that Yone has can be very annoying to be able to connect, again, especially the sweet spots of those Qs that you're looking for. Ucal does have flash.
Yep. Oh no, Tianzhen. Maybe just trying to harass there rather than messing up the combo. I think not really wanting to properly commit. Not much available for Cryin after the sidestep on the seismic shove, so just getting a bit of damage down.
And they actually don't know where Beichuan is yet. Seems like they have a pretty decent read that he's around this area.
Beichuan knows where they are.
Yeah.
Move into the brush. He's level 6 right now. This could be disastrous. No cleanse on Wink or on. His roots land. It's probably a kill on either of them. qiuqiu's still only level 4, so won't have that arrow to follow up, but looks like Arn and Wink not risking it. Not going to step up in the lane. Suspecting something could be up.
And On's cleanse, luckily, is actually back up now, so he will be totally fine if something potentially comes through. But hell, even then, if qiuqiu hits 6 now, cleanse the arrow, you're just going to get flashed on by Beichuan.
Oh, flash for flash here. Wink knocked back here. True Shot Barrage goes wide, but it will not matter. First blood taken by 1xN. A very patient play from TT, but it pays off in the end.
And I feel like these are the types of plays that both teams should be looking for, right? Like, when you have double squishy bot laners on both sides, immobile champions pretty much all around, except for the Ezreal. Draven kinda, you know, has the movement speed, but still, if you can blow any of these summoners, it just makes it so easy to follow up on the gank. I'm a bit sad we haven't really seen any more attention paid from the Jarvan, considering that qiuqiu doesn't have that flash up. But Cryin's Weaver's Wall will be back up soon. Cryin already did look for a play by himself.
Did. Again, Hoya just back and forth in the top side. YSKM, though, managing to find himself a CS lead to start that lane off. Ucal does finally get knocked back, trying to outmove it, but the shockwave comes into play as well, and suddenly Ucal winning the trade. Happy to use that ultimate, because realistically, Talia doesn't have an ultimate when it comes to the mid lane 1v1, so you can use that pretty much willy-nilly to make sure that the trade's going even.
Yeah, at this point, should definitely just be able to out-trade in that 1v1, but actually having the support come from Wink. He does have Chains of Corruption, but I'd be surprised to see it used, especially now, qiuqiu. And even Beichuan spotted on that control ward behind Dragon Pit, so they have full information of where the members of TT are.
Really nice trade from YSKM there, pretty much dodging everything. And in the meantime, TT decide to start this Drake off. This is where the game could get a little bit spicy, but a big old slowdown between game 1 and 2 here. 1XM positioning quite aggressively, looking for whatever he can find here, trying to get information for his team on that Ezreal. You can dodge pretty much whatever comes your way, so you can position aggressively like that. But TT, they take the Drake themselves. No real contester of IG. And again, Tianzhen kind of a spectator in a lot of these plays.
Yeah, we're really not seeing him get off the ground running so far as compared to the other members. Good trades from Hoya, but YSKM's still going to be completely fine. Has the sustain now coming through with the Vampiric Scepter, so feels like he's in a pretty good spot. And maybe that's why IG are feeling fine to take it a little bit slower. They know the Xione is going to be able to start stacking up an advantage. But still, it just doesn't really sit right with me to not try to enable your Draven more. I mean, to be fair, TT haven't given them too many opportunities to even do so, but hell, we've seen with Beichuan, it doesn't really matter. Sometimes you just ignore your camp stop side, you just hover around bot, because that's how important it is right now. And you do have these immobile bot laners that would be very easy to punish.
I'm hoping they click on the Draven at some point soon, because we've been farming for a while now. He's got to be on a lot of stacks at this stage, catching those axes as well, probably at least 200 stacks. True Shot Barrage to try and clear the wave. They know what's going on here, and qiuqiu going to volley it just to make sure that Tianzhen doesn't get the opportunity to dive here. Tianzhen sticking around. Does want to try and make this play happen, I think. Honestly,
they know.
One extended qiuqiu might need to just leave.
Yeah, right, that they know the Grubs were going on even the second Hoya left the lane, so doing a nice job surviving till now. We'll see if they can outplay with the summoners they have.
Yeah, they do have their summoners, and that's going to be a stun going in. qiuqiu, the target flashes, Tianzhen gets on top of him. Wink tanking up forever as 1XN gets back under the tower, but on so low on this one. Tianzhen going to tank it now. It reset on the minions as well. It's a perfect dive from IG.
What great execution. I kept expecting that to go horribly wrong, just with how well TT were kind of playing around some of those angles. Not a lot of time. Cryin doesn't manage to find it.
Incredibly close to the mid lane. Both flashes were available, but neither player pulls the trigger in the end. And my goodness, yeah, the dive at the bottom side though. Let's take another look, because that, like 1XN and qiuqiu, they played it decently well, but there's only so much you can do.
Yeah, I mean, especially for the Ashe, right? You're playing against Jarvan. Really nice flash follow-up by Tianzhen. He goes down, but, I mean, right, every member of IG is squishy, so great job of juggling the aggro here. 1XN trying to do his best, but at the end of the day, I mean, just so much you have to play around by yourself. I even like that he held on to the flash. Like, I don't know, maybe if he flashed away from that turret, maybe one could have like, gone down with how, you know, they would have had to pull aggro, but it doesn't feel like it would have been worth to play for that sort of what-if.
No. It definitely wouldn't have been a guaranteed kill, would it? And
no.
You want to risk that and lose a summoner when you're against a composition as aggressive as this? I'd say probably not. Ucal move down to the bottom side now. Could be in a lot of trouble. Wink moving over, essentially ganking his own lane here. And On will start to crash this. Oh no, Cryin's here, Tianzhen's here. The focus on this bottom side. You asked for more focus on the Draven, and boy, are IG delivering. Cryin cuts off the wave, whirling death in. Look at that damage. Unhappy to get another cash in. 3-0 on the Draven. This is what we wanted to see.
And especially now that we're at this point in the game where Ezreal has changed to mid and Ucal's picking up sides, this is the part that IG are really excited for, right? Because the only reason I could guess why they were a bit timid about ganking bot early is because, you know, they're ganking an Ezreal as a Jarvan, so it's a bit harder. But at the same time, it's like you did pick the Jarvan yourselves knowingly into what TT have picked up, but now they can start punishing this Orianna. That is exactly what IG are going to keep trying to hammer home. Now, Ghost played another serrated Zerk, another pickaxe. On is going to start dishing out some big damage.
He certainly is. And fair play to Ucal saving his flash there as well. Similarly to 1xN in the previous play. Good summoner discipline coming out from TT so far on these dives when like the play is completely doomed. Don't throw away summoner as well. But IG, 2,000 gold ahead at this point. They're feeling strong, but TT are actually going to be able to get this Herald anyway.
Ooh!
They're not looking for a Herald, though. They're looking for a juicy little Ezreal. Great stun coming on through. And a beautiful follow-up from Tianzhen. Looking for Jojo as well, but he's wiser than that.
This is why we highlighted Cryin, man, right? Like, Cryin really has just been so solid, it feels like, ever since his departure from RNG. Just obviously kind of playing down on you know, weaker rosters. He's still been able to hold up strong. Is all this praise going to get him murdered? No, at least not yet.
It's a hard dive to make happen, but they do have the Herald to work with. Beichuan is not going to let him walk away. No chance. Cryin trying to position it, trying to find his way, but it's not going to happen. Beichuan, though, gets the slow, but Cryine's flash, it does get him out.
Yeah, I saw on the mini-map that On threw his Whirling Death. It didn't look like he threw it up towards top side. I wonder if he was using it to clear out mid. Gonna see here. So they know exactly where he's going.
Oh, just looking mid.
Yeah, not expecting it to come through. Too big of a mistake to make. Especially in a game like this where IG, I mean, it's looking like another 2-0. Looking like TT potentially going to be sitting at 1-3.
Yeah, this is a tough one for TT. I love that in that replay as well. 1xN dies instantly, goes into the shop, sells his refill potion. He's like, I have no more use for this. I'm not going to have any chance to heal up with potions this game. This is a one-shot kind of game. And rightly so. I mean, I think he would have sold it at this point pretty much anyway, but I thought it was funny. 2,500 gold lead for IG. And like you say, kind of on the cusp, it feels like, of a potential 2-0, unless TT can really change the pace of this game. Jojo spots them all out with his hawk shot there, or drone shot, I suppose, on that skin.
Yeah.
I do wonder what the game plan is for TT, though, at this point. Like, it does feel really difficult.
I mean, right, like, I feel like TT aren't necessarily in, like, a do-or-die position quite yet. I mean, you do still have Maokai, Orianna, Ezreal, so you're going to be able to buy a lot of space for them to dish out their damage. I guess there's a bit of bias coming in and like, okay, can TT buy enough time for these champions to really just put a lot of hurt onto what IG want to do? It's like, I don't feel like TT have shown us enough for us to have faith in them doing that. And at the same time, you're always going to have to worry about YSKM just being huge, coming with an ultimate, and just catching, you know, Ucal or 1xN with their pants down. 1xN, both of his last stats, he had flash up, just never really in a position to use it. If IG can keep setting up those positions, it's not going to matter how mobile he is.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things where, at the end of the day, like the first play, I agreed with 1xN not using his flash. The second play, there was no opportunity. On does sidestep. It had cleanse anyway, but would have been nice to be able to burn that summoner for the side of TT. Just want to point out the build for Wink as well. Did go for the Zarzex. And heading towards what looks like an Edge of Night.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it would make a lot of sense. I also love Collector finished up Braun. This is when Draven starts feeling really huge. His flank coming out from Hoya.
Wow, that damage onto Tianzhen. He's basically one-shot. Cryin just scoots on out of there, and rightly so. Have a little rejig of the headset. So wondering what just happened to his jungler.
Luckily for TT, still going to be able to cover both lanes, or will they not?
Oh, YSKM wants another solo kill, but Ucal just walks away. Tries to clear the wave, the Whirling Death is in. On's arrived, the whole team has come into the scene here. And On takes one turret shot for his trouble, but they're happy with that one. And in the meantime, the other mid laner's in trouble. Hoya will be the one to finish that kill, and it is not a good day to be in a mobile mage.
No, I'm crying. I don't know, maybe just assuming that recalls came through. I'm hoping we get a replay of that one because he was just so far forward. Now, turret going to be traded. TT might even... Okay, so we shouldn't be able to find two, but we'll find that one down in bot. So pretty close game despite the gold score. TT did a nice job at being able to answer back with some of these punches. Hell, they even still have the Rift Herald that they can play with.
Yeah, that Rift Herald, been waiting for that for a little while at this point. It's got to be close to timing out. Gonna have to just slam it somewhere. But not really finding the opportunity just yet and not wanting to waste it either. But at this point, you could always just use it to get back to lane faster.
Yeah.
That's an option with the current vision of Herald. Cryin slammed down, and well, not a whole lot you can do about that.
Yeah, just, you know, obviously not expecting Hoya to be in that brush, but it seems like questioning whether anyone would be here at all. As now, here it is, Herald play comes out from TP. He's going to be able to open up mid lane turret as well. 3 turrets. They also, oh, flash.
Okay.
What was that?
Bold for Beichuan. Both junglers get one shot. Oh, Hoya! Massive damage on the back line. YSKM goes in, but that's a lot of damage that they can do to him. Cryin hit by the volley. Drake spawning in 13 seconds. Neither team has a jungler. No ultimates available here as Hoya goes back in once again. It's only on with the whirling death. That's the only ultimate, but he's down for another 15 seconds. I think this will be Drake for TT.
God, my God, just both jugglers, like you said, deleted. Now TT going to be able to get the fruits of their labor. I like the quick transition to top from IG. Just keep maintaining vision on Baron if you're going to be the team to lose out on it. We're going to get a replay here. Like, Beichuan is just gone out of nowhere. Tries to flash in on the Draven, immediate cleanse. And then, I mean, just look at how much damage is there. Sadly, though, Enchanted Crystal Arrow also locks down Tianzhen. And really, we're just getting a good, like, see of how bursty both of these compositions are. Not a whole lot of frontline coming out on either end. It's pretty much just full damage for both sides.
Just absolute insanity. I love this draft, man. Like, the amount of damage available for both teams is absurd. I will quickly mention as well, 1xN has now finished his Muramana, so very big spike for him. He's going to be doing a lot of damage in the next fight. Ucal on the 2 items as well, so TT have started to come online. You saw it, the damage onto Tianzhen in that previous one. There's Beichuan, sidesteps the seismic shove. Cryin will have to walk away, does not find his kill. Gold, about 1,500 in favor of IG, but that doesn't quite feel enough right now. Storm Surge picked up from Cryin as well, so again, both teams lots of damage.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like TT are going to be in this like kind of weird point of power right now until we get more spell shields coming out for members of IG, whether that be like Banshees or more Edge of Nights, right? Because I think just being able to dissuade that Ash Arrow is going to be a big difference maker for IG to be able to survive.
Oh, going for Cryin, he flashes in a straight line, and Hoya is instantly there to capitalize. What a pick coming out from TT. That might just open up a Baron. Mid laner down. His TP's available, but he's not up for 35 seconds.
And this is exactly why I think there's going to be this kind of like weird point where TT are very favorited with the range they have, especially just with the threat of those arrows. Because, I mean, you throw out the arrow, it hits someone even when they have the spell shield, and it just more easily even opens up for like the Maokai engage as well. So I really think we're going to have to start seeing those be the next big priorities for On and Cryin.
I'll have to see. Cleanse still on cooldown right now for On for another maybe 30 seconds. Maybe slightly less than that. But once that's back, he'll be happy to soak up some of these arrows and use that cleanse in favor of, you know, versus Cryin just getting one shot like that.
Yeah.
I want to see a little bit more from YSKM as well. He's had a quiet game so far. You can soak up CC on the Yone using your E, but your E has to already be in play to pull that off.
To do that, yeah. So, yeah, a lot of the time, I mean, it's just hard, right? Considering that TT have been the ones dictating the pace of those engages. And now you look at the minimap, absolutely littered with TT wards. Really no vision coming down for IG. They have some wards around Baron to at least make sure that nothing goes down under their noses, but TT are doing their best to clear those out as quickly as they can.
I just love that we've got this Ashe versus Varus support matchup. The stun lands, the roots are there to follow it up, knocked back. The shockwave dodged by the ultimate. He jumps back out again. Can he escape from this one? Beichuan can't close the gap, but 1xN can. Ucal is chunked though. Cryin trying to get that damage down. We're all low, but TT still get a pick.
Yeah, and luckily Cryin did do enough damage where the Baron just can't come out instantly. They are going to have to back off and respect this damage, but just more mistakes coming through. IG really feeling the pressure of the range coming out from things like the Ezreal and the Ashe, and really not knowing how to maneuver without a front line, especially with the fact that they want to keep YSKM inside to keep farming up, you know, maybe try to find a bit of his own advantage in the 1v1. You're never going to find those angles to, like, all unanimously, like, jump in on a target. It just leaves you isolated for picks like this to come through.
It certainly does. I feel like they could have chained the CC ever so slightly better there, but not the end of the world. The Whirling Death straight between the goalposts, but chunks out qiuqiu at the end. And now, Drake coming up in 40 seconds time. This could be an opportunity for TT to get themselves a soul point. But in the meantime, Baron begun. There is a ward that's spotting literally all of this. The hawk shot comes in. TP is being channeled by IG. They are committed to the play. Ult comes out from the Varus very early on, but the Baron's taken already. IG just
Beichuan has ult.
Full vision was there for TT. Beichuan throws out those roots. Can he follow it up? He's out of range for the W. Has to flash over the wall. YSKM pulled in. Commits to the ultimate just to try and trade.
Wink, recall,
he loses
Wink.
his own life. Hoya trying to find more. Wink and Cryin in a really awkward spot now. The TP denied as well. Cryin will fall, and Wink has nowhere to run. Supportal combat as he tries to take out qiuqiu, but there's no chance.
That was just so frustrating to see towards the end. I feel like IG actually could have gotten away with that heist if they didn't get concerned with YSKM. But now, 2 members with the Baron. Tianzhen. Yeah, you were never going to be able to make it over here and try to kind of finesse this one out from under TT's noses. TT will be able to get themselves onto Soul Point, and you know, Munch, it must be. Chemtech Soul, Chemtech Rip, it must be the highest percentage one we have in the LPL.
Yeah, I'm fully on board at this point. It does feel that way. Another Chem Soul. Well, at least not a Soul yet, but it is the Chem Rip, that's for sure. Stun comes on through.
I mean, at this point, right, there's really no ways IG you could take a fight. You're going to see Beichuan come through with the ult. Here, I wish Wink and Cryin could have just tried to go for, like, the ultimate escape. But you can see, especially Wink, getting baited, trying to walk forward, throw out the arrows, and it just leads to less Barons on the side of IG. That could have been, I think, a 1-member loss for IG. Ends up being a 3.
Yeah, I feel like with the empowered recalls as well, you could just run.
Yeah.
Oh, Cryan's caught out. No, oh my god, the Q damage from Hoya is obscene. That was like half of his alpha for 1 Q.
I mean, now, right, now with this composition being behind, it feels like it's going to be really hard for IG. Luckily for them, I mean, they still do always have the damage that if 1 member oversteps, they'll just be deleted, like we saw with 1xN earlier in the game. But, like, now the threat of the Maokai ult's going to do so much from really dissuading anyone from coming in forward. You're going to have just constant Qs coming out from 1xN, just hammering on all the IG members, and it's like, how do you really safely engage without just getting obliterated first?
And it kind of goes back to your point of the spell shields as well, right? The idea is you go for the spell shields to try and stop the Ashe engages, but that doesn't stop the Ashe and the Maokai and Ezreal True Shot barrages that can proc those shields as well.
True.
You don't have enough spell shield for the amount of spells that are flying in your direction. The recall will go off. That was blind as well. They didn't actually know he was in there for sure, but will get away with his life. It's a while until we get another objective up. The Baron power play is currently at minus 600 gold for IG. Oh no, the root's going to get him. They're going to commit to the dive here. Ash Arrow goes in. Yes, they are going to commit to the dive because it's barely even a dive. Almost one-shotting him there, and Hoya is getting value out of this lethality Aatrox.
I mean, right, a much better game to do it. Going up against an IG objective this time around as compared to, like, the decision-making behind last game. So now IG all inning on the hope of YSKM's Yone being able to keep the game even just by constantly hammering on this top lane turret. But 2 minutes, 40 seconds, you know IG going to be looking to scrap. It's going to be about can they come out ahead, but feels hard. Looking especially at Hoya, I just don't know if they'll be able to take this guy down before he could just one-shot someone.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge to say the very least. It all depends on the positioning, right? If you can get good stand aside, maybe Varus ultimate hits him, you'll be able to take him down very easily. It's just If he manages to dodge any of that CC or gets a flank while you're focused on other players, that becomes a dicey situation real quick. 2 minutes until that Drake comes up. It's 11-6 on the scoreboard, and the gold is dead even. We are neck and neck in this one, but it feels like TT are further ahead than that.
It just feels like the difference being... Oh, God, that's close. The difference being the kind of bit of front line they have in the Maokai, the much more like numerous CC that they have as well, on top of the range advantage. Like, there's a lot of different things that TT's comp has going for them, especially when IG aren't playing from an advantage with champions like Draven, like support Varus, and especially the Jarvan.
Yeah. And it's really tough as well, because they started with an advantage. Like, it was going so well. We had Arn was 3-0 early on in the game. It did feel like this was going to be just an absolute snowball, but in the side lane, Cryin has been struggling a bit. 1-4 so far in this one. Keeps on just getting absolutely burst down. We saw the trade of mid laners earlier on, but that's only one of the 2 deaths Ucal's had.
Yeah, I really feel like these Ashe arrows are like just the biggest annoyance with the fact that they have to catch sides against the Aatrox. And it's like you said, like sure there's a bunch of other CC like the Maokai, like stuff like that, but when you're alone, you are just gonna die.
Yeah, so long range. They find it. The root's coming through as well, and they found On. That's cleanse burned. Next time an arrow's up, On is in trouble. The Weaver's Wall will buy a tiny little bit of time, but not very much. They've got to keep their eyes on that Orianna ball, because Shockwave is up, and it is going to do damage. 10 stacks on Ucal's Dark Seal at this point. Lyric, I think we might be going to 3 on this one, because Chemtech Soul is up in 15 seconds, and I don't see how IG can contest.
You know, if there was a series that was going to go to 3 tonight, it was IG against TT.
Absolutely.
These teams feeling like they were feel like they've shown us like a similar level of highs and lows so far, even if the frequency at which they've shown them has been a bit different, right? Considering TT 1 and 2, IG 2 and 1, but now IG pushing more aggressively.
They found a pick. Beichuan is the target. Jungler could go down here. Whirling Death to finish it, and another cash in for Arn. And now an opportunity for IG. They could get a Baron off the back of this. It's Chemtech Soul picked up, but no jungler here for TT. Should mean a second Baron for the game here for IG. TT really can't walk into this one, because that Trisha Barrage was real close.
That was close.
But IG get it in the end. No tank to walk in there for TT.
No, and especially Wink having Chains of Corruption ready, Tianzhen having the ult, like it would have been the best thing for IG had TT contested there and then actually been able to turn that into like a meaningful gold advantage. We're gonna see here though, just making their way around, things coming out. I think they expect other members of TT to be on the Dragon, so I love the initiative from Cryin. It's the knockback, and there's really just nowhere for Beichuan to go. But now we need to see them actually find fights with this and kind of really start getting a gold lead rolling in lanes when they have baroned up minions before we're standing in front of an Elder Drake getting whittled down by TT's composition. 5 minutes.
5 minutes until Smolder's mum enters the scene. And I'll tell you what, Smolder's mum, she's got it going on.
Oh no.
Let's see what happens. At this point, I'm open to anything. IG, 3,000 gold up somehow off of the back of that Baron, I suppose. Let's see if they can find another pick. If they could find a pick, it could be huge, but I just don't see how it's doable, you know? Unless YSKM can go crazy. He's got an IE now. That's 4 items on the Yone. Maybe he can find a 1v1 with someone. He was the MVP in game number 1. It's so much to wrestle that game from TT on his Cassante. It's been a quiet game from him on the Yone.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard. I feel like their target kind of has to be Ucal. No flash up, very squishy, but has a Zanya, so even he'd be able to buy a lot of time. Yeah, just not even any obvious targets on TT's side. TT also not being too ambitious in terms of walking into their own jungle. They know exactly that IG are hoping for those picks to come out, and they're probably just gonna be able to wait out this Baron.
Yeah. I think one of the scary things as well is Hoya has got a Sterix now. He's got that spell shield too. Hang on, there on That's an Ezreal. The wall's not going to do a whole lot to catch him. As now TT move in and Tianzhen engages? I don't know about that one, Chief. Tianzhen down. I mean, that's the end of the Baron play. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, I think they just look really stuck. I mean, TT have enough range to be able to play with to not give in to the type of fights that IG are hoping to look for. So now they're able to absorb it. We have a huge 4-item Ezreal. We have a huge 4-item 502 Aatrox. Like, yeah, and Tianzhen not looking the most comfortable on the Jarvan. We're going to get a replay here. I mean, just trying to separate, I feel like, the rest of the members from the turret so they can easily take this one down. Like you said, 1xN can still play far forward because he's on the Ezreal. And then Tianzhen wanting to escape the Infernal Chains while also hoping to turn it into an engage completely backfires.
Yeah,
and I'm kind of on the same page with you. It's getting hard to find what angles IG can really find the win from, especially with the way that TT are playing.
Yeah, I do think in situations like that, though, Tianzhen definitely could have just
could have just not
the other way. Like,
yeah,
he could have
not
just
ran
gone a bit
in.
lane and left. I don't think he was
like,
forced to engage.
I guess I'm not talking about that play itself, but it's like, okay, you're running away, now what?
Yeah, no, sorry, I wasn't meaning in reference to what you said. I was more just meaning like, yeah, I don't know.
You were just
weird
spicy.
one. Tianzhen basically one shot again here as 1xN goes upwards into play. YSKM is doing big damage on the backside. Ucal's low. But 1xN was just waiting for him. He's trying to 1v1 this Yone, but I don't know if he wins that 1v1. In the meantime, Hoya has taken over the game. 8-0-3. And showing us why they picked this Aatrox.
And just showing that this was a much better game to go for the Aatrox. Go this build. And, I mean, you have your pick of the litter in terms of squishy champions that you just destroyed.
Absolutely fantastic stuff coming out from Hoya. And that's going to be game. That is going to be TT pushing us to 3. It was a tough win. It was a slog for them, losing 2 Barons on the way, but still getting the win in the end. I think they were down on gold for about 80% of that game as well.
Yeah, behind for a long time. And it felt like the real pivotal play was the one around mid lane.